live with Tao. Beauty, a phenomena of heart, of feeling. If you come in deep contact with a person, the person's beauty is revealed, the person becomes beautiful for you. The deeper the concept, the deeper the contact, the more beauty is revealed. Indeed, beauty is a phenomenon that happens to the heart, not to the mind. It is not a calculation. There is no criteria by which to judge. Beauty is a feeling. So if I say this rose is not beautiful, you cannot argue. And there is no need to argue. You will say this is your feeling. And the rose is beautiful, and that is my feeling. There is no question of argument. Heads can argue. Hearts do not argue. It is finished. There is full stop. I say this is my feeling, then there is no question of argument. With head, argument can continue, and it is through the argument that you come to a conclusion. With heart, the conclusion has already happened. With heart, there is no procedure to follow. There is no procedure towards conclusion. The conclusion is instant, immediate. With head, conclusion is a process. You argue, you discuss, you analyze, and only then you come to a conclusion about whether this is so or not. With heart, it is an immediate, instant phenomenon. The conclusion comes first. That is what happens in love. Conclusion comes first, and then when head comes in, then a different process begins and leads you to somewhere else, into another dimension. Look at it. With head, conclusion comes in the end. With heart, conclusion comes first, and then you can proceed to find the process, but that is the work of the head. That is why it is said love is blind. So when such techniques have to be practiced, the first difficulty will be that you do not know what feeling is. So it is important to say, know the feeling. You have to develop the feeling. When you touch something, close your eyes. Do not think, instead feel. For example, if I take your hand in my hand and I say to you, close your eyes and feel what is happening. Immediately you will say, your hand is in my hand. Is this feeling? No, it is not a feeling. It is a thinking. You think that your hand is in my hand. Then if I again say, feel, do not think, then you can say, you are expressing your love. That too again is a thinking. If I insist just feel, without using the head, what are you feeling right now? Only then you will be able to say, to feel and say. What you will say? The warmth. Because love is a conclusion. Your hand is in my hand. This is a head-oriented thought. If you are feeling the warmth, then it is a different thing. Love is a conclusion. Your hand is in my hand. This is a thought arising out of the head. The actual feeling is that a certain warmth is coming from my hand to your hand, or from your hand to my hand. Our life energies are meeting, and the point of meeting has become warm. The point where the two energies meet. It is when you hold somebody's hand, or you embrace someone, or you hug someone, the two energies are flowing into one another. It has become warm. This is the feeling. The sensation is real. But we go on with head continuously. That has now become our habit. We are trained into it. So you will have to reopen your heart, channels of your heart, the channels of feeling. You can experience this when you put your hand on your hand and keep your eyes closed. Immediately you begin to feel a warmth. You do not feel cold, but the moment the head begins to operate, you feel the coldness, a warmth. That's why when we sit in meditation, we keep one palm over the other so that the energy begins to flow from the energy forms a circle, and it begins to flow from one pole to the other. One pole is your heart, the other pole is your head. So we sit down in meditation with the palms into one another. So it maintains the two poles are connected to one another. There is no release of energy from any ends of the nerves, and the energy between your heart and head begins to flow into one another. That is the process of meditation is. Meditation is the flow of energy, a feel of the flow of energy from one pole to the another. When you hold the hand of your spouse in your hand, or you hug the spouse, it is nothing else but a flow of energy from one pole to the another. The two energies are merging into one another, flowing into one another. That creates the warmth. And this warmth is the beginning of meditation. So you can hug your spouse or any insentient thing. That is why in India all these things are considered important. Hugging the tree. If you stand up and begin to feel that tree is alive, the moment you hug the tree, and energy begins to flow. Osho mentions about this. There was a tree in his hometown known as Madhumalti. The tree will wait for you if you go and sit down for meditation. Under that tree, the tree will wait, and then there is a loving huggingness. That is the reason you have your chair and a desk. Your energy is absorbed in that chair and the desk. So when you sit down in that chair or in that in that spot for meditation, you feel the energy begins to flow naturally and you become meditative. As compared to this, when you go to another spot or place and sit down in meditation, it takes a little while. So everything responds to that. So you have to try to live with feelings. The actual feeling is that a certain warmth is flowing from my hand to your hand or from me to you, or from you to your spouse and from your spouse to you when there is warmth. Our life energies are meeting, and the point of meeting, the confluence, has become hot. It has become warm, and this is feeling. Meditation is a feeling, love is a feeling, and in order to enter into the inner dimension through anything, you have to learn to do the feeling. When you are giving a hug to your spouse, it is not the two bodies touching. Instead, we focus on the two bodies touching. But it is two energies are flowing into one another that creates the warmth. It has become warm. It is a feeling. The sensation is real. But we go on with the head continuously. That has become our habit. We have trained for it. We have to learn to reopen the doors of our heart and allow the energy to flow through the heart. Try to live with feelings. Keep your hand into one another this way or doing this way. You sit down in meditation, you keep your hands, begin to feel the warmth. In Tai Chi exercises, there is an exercise when you keep your two palms facing one another at the level of your shoulders, and you are feeling with eyes closed, you are feeling a warmth, and slowly you are bringing the palms closer to one another. And there is experience of the breath, and when it merges into two, it becomes, you will feel a warmth. And this is how the healing is also done. When you are doing healing through any method, you rub your palms together, and with that a warmth is created. The rubbing is not important. What happens that the two energies begin to flow into one another. The two sides, the masculine and the feminine in you, begin to flow, and that creates a warmth. Now you are transferring that warmth onto that person. And that can be done through your eyes also. So you have to, when you are going to give a hug to your spouse, It is like the two energies are coming close to one another. That time, the touch of the body is not important, but we focus on the touch of the physical bodies, but the subtle energies are flowing into one another. There is no obstruction there. Sometimes in the day when you are not doing any particular business, because in business, in the beginning it will be difficult to live with feeling, but once you develop that, even in the business, even in your work, you can work with feelings. Their head has proved very efficient, and you cannot depend on the feelings. While you are at home playing with your children, the head is not needed. It is not a business. But there too, you are with head. Playing with your children or just sitting with your spouse, not doing anything, relaxing in the chair, feel the texture of the chair. That is why the place where you sit down every day for meditation, it gives you an immediate, it welcomes you. It gives you a response and you say that I would like to sit down at that spot. Your hand is touching the chair. How are you feeling it? The air is blowing, the breeze is coming in, it touches you. How do you feel? Smells are coming from the kitchen. How do you feel? Just feel, do not think about it. Do not start brooding that the smell shows that something is being cooked in the kitchen. Then you have started dreaming about it. No. Just feel whatsoever is the fact, whatsoever is happening. Remain with the fact and do not move to thinking. You are surrounded from everywhere, from all sides, everywhere. So much the fragrance, the breeze is converging on you. The whole existence is coming to meet and merge you from all around. From all senses it is entering you. The warmth of your spouse is entering you from all sides. But you are in the head. When you are in the head, you will not feel it, and your senses will become dormant, dead. And that is what has happened to us. We have lost that sense of feeling. A certain growth will be needed before you can do this, because it is an inner experiment. If you cannot feel the outer, it will be difficult for you to feel the inner. First, you feel the outer, the body, and we end there. We do not move from the outer to the inner. So you have to, when you sit down, you put your hands on the chair, and you can keep your hands this way, or you can keep your hands on the armrest of the chair, palms, not hands, palms, touching. The palms are more sensitive than the outer side, onto the chair, and begin to feel the energy of the place where you constantly sit in meditation. There is a connection. Just as the moment you put the plugs into the socket, the contact has happened and energy begins to flow. This we know. That exactly begins to happen. The both are matter, but they are the matters which are sensitive to the flow of energy. You can create that flow to happen the moment you put your palms onto the chair, or you're sitting in meditation on your two inner thighs, and just keep your eyes closed and feel that there is something happening between your palms and your thighs. You start going into a kind of intoxication. Exactly this can happen if you learn the art of feeling between you and your spouse. That is the beginning. This is the outer dimension. The outer skin, the sensitivity of the skin is touching one another, meeting. And through that, you enter into the inner dimension. The door is the outer dimension. These pores, they become the door or the outer dimension to enter the inner. In order to enter into your room, you use the door. Door is the entrance through which you reach the inner dimension. So by putting the hands onto your palm, or palms touching the handrest of your chair, or you can choose any other method, you are entering the inner dimension. When you are in embrace or a hug with your spouse, the body is the door. It is at the crossroad. You can go to the head or you can go to the heart. If in that deep embrace you are feeling the energy begins to flow, you are moving to the dimension of the inner, the dimension of the heart. Otherwise, you are moving to the dimension of the head. This is what happens. And the inner life begins when you move from the dimension of the outer to the inner. Just as your car door is the way to enter the inner. And in order to travel, you must open the door, and through the door you enter the inner, close the door, now you are inside. If you do not enter the car, your vehicle, your journey cannot begin. So too, no matter how much theories, how much you know about Bhagavad Gita or this, if you have not entered, what is the way to enter Bhagavad Gita? The first sutra. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. The word dharma, in that the letter R is half. It is put on top of the ma, dharma. Karma is the same way. Ra is the letter Ra is the verb. So both are incomplete until the two merges into one another. Your righteousness, where would you practice? Would you practice righteousness in your temple or in the field of activity? The field of activity is defined by the word karma kshetra, the field of action. Now you have known the theory, you are practicing it, experiencing it in the field of activity. You are giving a hug to your spouse. This is the field of activity. But dharma is your field of innerness, You have understood what is righteousness, how to enter into any particular phenomenon righteously. And when these two are merged, so this is where the first sutra is Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samveta Yuyusavaha Mamakaha Pandavasyaiva Kim Kurvat Sanjay. The blind king asks, mind is blind. The Dhritarashtra represents the human mind. And he is anxious to know the dharma. See how it is written in Hindi. Dha and ma comes on top of the ra comes on top of the ma. So it is not complete letter R is used, dharam. It is not dharam, dharma. Karam, it is not say karam. You can say it karam, that is ignorantly. You can maybe a great writer, but to me you are ignorant. You can convince the mind, but religion is a feeling, not an argument. You cannot move on to the level of the argument, but at the level of feeling. Meditation, the entire inner journey is when you move from the head to the heart, that's where the journey begins. So through Bhagavad Gita, through this first sutra, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samveta Yuyusavaha Mamakaha Pandavasyaiva Kim Kurvat Sanjay. Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. Unless these two letter words you understand, you cannot enter into. This is the door through which you enter the domain of Bhagavad Gita. What Veda Vyas wants to tell you, what was his vision, what was his experience, what was his feeling, that he is trying to communicate, but he has put a lock. That is the password. I cannot enter into your computer unless I know your password. So this Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra is the password to enter the realm of Bhagavad Gita. Unless you do that, you cannot enter. So first, this is very important. Do not think about it. There is no need to brood. The entire existence is coming to meet you from all sides. The breeze, all the pores of the body are pouring their energy into you. They do not, but we are remaining in the head, we do not feel. A certain growth will be needed before you can reach the dimension of the heart. Sufis say from the journey of the inner, the journey of the vertical, the journey into eternity begins when you descend from the mind to the heart. That is why Kalb is very important. Kalb, the Sufi terminology, heart center begins to open. And the point where Jesus was crucified, it was the union where it was the crossroad where the vertical merges, meets the horizontal. It is the point where head and the heart merge into one another. Otherwise, you are head oriented. Is neither the head oriented is important nor the heart oriented is important. Jesus' sacred heart represents the moment when the energy of the head and the two, it is a confluence where two different streams of the energy flows into one another. And that is the point from where the journey begins. This can happen with you. You are just sitting in your garden. The traffic is passing by, and there are many noises and many sounds arising. You just close your eyes and try to find the subtle sound that is around, that is surrounding you. There is a subtle sound. A crow is cawing. Just concentrate yourself on that noise, that which appears to be the noise. The people say, I cannot meditate because children are making noise, the dogs are barking. Do the dogs know that you are meditating? Or dogs are concerned with your meditation? You don't know what meditation is all about. In the dog's barking, there is a subtle rhythm, subtle sound. And unless you move from the gross sound or anything to the subtle, you have not learned the art of spirituality. A crow is cawing. Just concentrate yourself on that crow's noise. The whole traffic noise is going on. The sound is such, it is so subtle that you cannot be aware of it unless you focus your awareness towards it. And inner journey is focusing your awareness, moving from the outer dimension to the inner. But if you feel your awareness, the whole traffic noise will be far away and the noise of the crow will become the center. When you are giving a hug to your spouse, your focus is on the gross, the touch of the body, not on the subtle energies that is flowing into one another. When you move from the gross to the subtle, a new dimension begins. When your awareness is moving from the gross to the subtle, the sound is such, it is so subtle that you cannot be aware of it unless you focus your awareness towards it. But if you focus your awareness, the whole traffic noise will be far away. And then the noise of the crow will become the center and you will hear it. All the nuances of it, all the nuances of the dog's barking, you will see a rhythm, you will see a harmony in it. And if you start focusing on that, it will become a subtle sound, a very subtle, and you will be able to hear it. Grow in sensitivity when you touch. That is why I emphasize, Shiva tells Devi that there are sense organs. When you touch, when you hear, when you eat, when you take a shower, allow your senses to open because these are the gateways. If you keep the door closed, you cannot enter it. Your eyes is the door to enter. Your nostril is the door to enter. Your ears are the nostril. Ears are the doorway to enter the inner dimension. And when from all the sense organs you are moving from the gross to the subtle, it is it is meditation. It is the beginning of the inward journey. And that is what is growing in sensitivity. When you touch, when you hear, when you taste, when you take a shower, allow your senses to be open. Do not think, feel. Enough for now, but the talk will continue. Until then, until tomorrow, take care.